Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Ascot Racecourse here on day one of the Royal Meeting. It's Tuesday, June the 19th, 2018. I'm going to look at all the races on today's program from Ascot, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and join me all this week for more Royal Ascot previews here on YouTube. It's just an excellent week of racing here in America. They'll be showing the Ascot racing on NBC Sports, so that's going to be very fun. This is the second year in a row they'll be doing it. Basically, it's the ITV feed just shown on NBC here in America, so it's going to be good. Also, some for us North America players, a few of the bookmakers or whatever you call them here in America, the ADWs, are going to be offering pick four wager every day on the of the Ascot meetings. Today the pick four starts off race number 3, so I'll give you a ticket for that. I'm not sure what the minimum is for the pick four. If it's a 50-cent minimum, 20-cent minimum, dollar minimum. Hopefully it's not $2 because then I'll be screwed. But I'll give you out a pick four play. That's for our North America players here. But we'll look at it now. We're gonna get to we have 6 races to look at. Starting off race number 1 from Ascot, and it's the feature race of the afternoon. The first race to 2:30. It's the Group 1 Queen Anne Stakes. It's a Group 1 race for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $874,000. That's in the American currency. I use that because it's just a little bit easier for me. This race is for 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 15 horses going the 1,600-meter trip, or 1 mile, the straight 1 mile on the turf course. The ground is quite fast or firm today. Reading in the Racing Post, I believe they are going to water it to slow it down just a little bit. So, fast ground, you don't want to see soft ground on a day like today, but, firm ground I think everybody likes. We have 15 horses here in the Queen Anne. As a top selection, I like the 3 horse, Ben Vettel. I'm going to go 3, 6, 15 in the TriCast or the trifecta. 3, 6, 15 TriCast trifecta. That's basically my top 3. I'll talk about all 3 of them first, but my top selection here are the 3 horse Ben Battle. Christophe Simeon is on this. Saeed Ben Sour, trained 4-year-old colt by Dubawi. This horse is owned by Godolphin. This horse's most recent outing came Dubai World Cup night at Meydan, a mile and an eighth, 1,800 meters in the Group 1 Dubai turf. This horse really had a great run. Godolphin had a great run that evening also, but this horse won by 3 1/4 lengths that day. As the 4-1 favorite at post, he just had a great turn of foot in the stretch, and he got there. A very nice victory. I did doubt him a little bit in that race. He ran well over the winter, but I thought that race could be a huge step up in class, but he held his own out there. Before that, in the Group 1 Jebel Hada, a local prep race for the Dubai turf, that came made on a mile and 8th, 18 meters, 10th of March. This horse finished second by 3/4 length, and if he had a better posture, I think he could have won. It was just a little bit too wide, but he ran his heart out there. And then the first February made on 1,800 meters, mile and 8th in the Group 1 Al Rashika Stakes. Horse won by 3 3/4 lengths. He just destroyed that group of horses, and he won the Singspiel a few weeks earlier very easily too. He's a horse that should love firm ground. He's going to get it today, and off the break at 4-1. I think this horse could run a big one. Godolphin's been on such a tear since last year. I think when Godolphin started this tear again at Royal Ascot in 2017, that's when they started to rebound, and in the last 12 months they've been on fire. I really mean it. And I think this horse Ben Battle could really add to that fire, so watch out for him. A horse I like second in this race is the 6 horse Lightning Spear. It's a little bit of a price play for me. David Simcock is on this one. David Simcock trains this one. Ocean Murphy gets the leg up on the 7-year-old horse by Pivotal. This horse's most recent outing came in the Lock-In a few weeks ago at Newbury, 1 mile, May the 19th. This horse finished second by a nose, and this horse ran a great race at 16-1. He just missed at the end, but it was, like I said, it was a great race off break. Before that, on the 10th of December in Hong Kong at Sha Tin, 1 mile in the Group 1 Hong Kong mile, he finished 10th by 5 3/4 lengths. He just never was into it. It's weird racing out in Hong Kong, and he didn't get a piece of it. Before that, here at Ascot, 1 mile in the QE2, this horse finished 6 by 6 3/4 lengths. the ground was very soft, almost heavy that day, and I don't think that the horse really preferred that going. And then at Chantilly, won in the Group 1 Moline Longchamp Stakes. Horse finished 6 by 6 lengths behind Ribchester, another Godolphin horse. This horse just really wasn't there, but before that, he put on a show at Goodwood in late August of last year, 1 mile, and the Group 2 Grosvenor Sports Celebration Mile Stakes. He won by a nose. He just ran a decent race that day, all around good efforts. I like him a lot here. Second off the break with firm ground, 7-1. I'll be on him. I have the 15 horse Road Durandon. I'm probably saying that wrong, but part of that. Ryan Moore's on this one for Aiden O'Brien. I have this horse for third here. She's actually the 5-2 favorite here in North America at the minute. She did beat the boys last week, a few weeks ago in the lock-in very nicely, but I know she had a great turn of foot there. But this race is a lot different than that. I think this race is more loaded with more talent than the lock-in was, and I just think she's gonna have a big challenge here. She's another horse that should like the firm ground, but it's gonna be a challenge for her to get the win. She's a horse you definitely want on your TriCast ticket if you would play one. But a few weeks before that, she ran a Longchamp in the Group 1 Prix Guinée, and she finished 4th by 5.5 lengths. Cracksman won a great race, and then the one next start out in the at Epsom a few weeks ago. This horse she probably needed the race there. And then before that, Breeze Cut Filly Mare Turf at Del Mar, she finished second by length. She just missed, but she ran an all-around great effort. That Breeze Cup Turf Sprint in 2017, the horses that have come out of it and run next start have been running pretty nicely. This horse was no exception. She did win the lock-in, but I think she's good enough to get third here. To win, it's gonna be a far. It's gonna be a lot for her to win, but third on your TriCast ticket, I'll use her. So to recap my bets for today's first race from Ascot, the 2:30, it's the Group 1 Queen Anne Stakes. As a top selection here, I like the 3 horse Ben Battle. I'm gonna go 3, 6, 15 in the TriCast or the trifecta. That's my top 3. I'll do a small each way wager also on Lightning Spear if his odds are nice enough. I think it's right now 7-1. I would do it, but if he gets up to 9-1 or 10-1, I'll be even happier. So I'll do a small each way wager on Lightning Spear, and I'm also going to do an each way wager on Ben Battle, a nice one on him. So watch out for those two. So now let's get on to race number 2 from Ascot. The 305, the second race from Ascot. It's the Group 2 Coventry Stakes. It's a Group 2 race for Class 1 horses going for a purse of $202,500. This race is for 2-year-olds only. We have a field of 24 2-year-olds going the distance of ground of 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the Ascot Turf Course. Very, very wide open race. I'll give you 2 horses that I think can win. Personally, unless the horse I like, unless the horses I like get up to 20-1, personally, I'm probably just going to skip over this race and watch it as a fan instead of having a wager on it. But here are the 2 horses I think can win. Those 2 horses are the 7 horse Calix and the number 20 horse here, Sergi Prokofiev. So 720. First horse talking about is the 7 horse Calix, 5-2. It's 2-year-old colt by Kingman. Frankie Dettori's on this one for John Gosden. Remember, last year Frankie Dettori missed the Royal meeting from Ascot because of an injury. So he's probably he wants to come back and really, put on a show, and I think he will this week. I think he has quite a few good mounts, this week, especially today. Also, we'll get to that in a little bit. But this Calix, out of every horse in this race, he had the most impressive, race out of anybody. His only start, June the 9th, so that was almost a week and a half ago now at Newmarket. 6 furlongs, 1,200 meters on firm ground in a Class 4 novice race. This horse won by 5 lengths, and as the 5-2 favorite, this horse just really, she could have won by more, but Robert Haviland, who rode this horse that day, didn't want to kill the horse. He just won very nicely. He's bred to go the distance. I think he should handle it. He has a little bit of a wide posture, but I don't think that should be so bad for this horse. Frankie Dettori's an expert. I think he knows what he's doing. Watch out for this horse here today. Like I said, he had the most impressive race out of anybody here. The problem is he's 5-2. Not a lot of value, or not a lot of priced with him. But another horse I think can win here is 12 horse Sergi Prokofiev. Thief. I'm probably saying that wrong, but pardon that. 2-1 here. Ryan Moore's on this one. Aidan O'Brien trains 2-year-old colts by Scat Daddy, and Scat Daddy, has been on an absolute tear lately. His prodigy. But this horse's most recent outing came on 20th of May, so about a month ago now at Naas in Ireland. Firm ground, 5 furlongs in a Class 1 listed stakes. Horse won by 4 lengths. He had the second most impressive race behind my other horse ever. He just had, he won by 4 lengths, 29 cents a dollar. He just won a very easy run there. And then first start ever at Navan, yielding ground, 5 furlong, 2-year-old race. He won by 7.5 lengths. Again, he won very nicely. And then he actually didn't break his maiden, but his first start, Dundalk, 5 furlong maiden race, finished second by a nose. He just missed, but he ran another great effort there. I think with the extra furlong today, it should really help him. He's breaking from the inside. Just watch out for him to run a big one. Now, like I said earlier, this is the kind of race I'm probably just going to watch as a fan, because these horses, just for me to bet, it doesn't make sense because they're just too low prices. But if you want my opinion, these two are the top two, in which I think are going to win. So to recount my bets for the second race from Ascot, the 305, it's the Group 2 Coventry Stakes. I'm going to go with the 7-horse Calyx, and I'm going to use the 20-horse also, 720 here. So now let's get on to race number 3 from Ascot. Race number 3, the 340 from Ascot. It's the Group 1 King's Stand Stakes. It's a Group 1 race going for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $727,500, just over $750,000. This race is for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 14 horses going the 1,000-meter dash, or 5 furlongs on the Ascot lawn, the turf course. Great race here. My top selection, I'm going to use the 9-horse Washington, D.C. I've been a very big fan of him. I'm going to go 9, 2, 10 in the tricast, or the trifecta. 9, 2, 10 tricast trifecta. And like I said earlier, they're going to be offering for us North America players, they're going to be offering a pick 4, and it begins with this race, and I'll give you a ticket out. If you guys in the UK don't know what a pick 4 is, it's not very popular there, but here in North America, it's probably one of the most popular wagers. You have to pick they'll give you 4 races in a row, and you have to pick the winner of every single race, and you could go as many deep in any race as you want. So you could use every horse if you want to. It costs a lot of money, but you can. But it's a great way to make some money here, and if you're right, and you can make a lot of money. In the pick 4 that begins with this race, for North America viewers, I'm going to use the 9-horse Washington, D.C. I'm going to use the 2-horse Blue Point, and I'm going to use the 10-horse Lady Aurelia. I'm going to go 3 deep here. Like I said earlier, I'm not sure what the minimum wager is. I don't know if it's 50 cents, if it's $1, if it's 20 cents. I'll know very soon. Hopefully it's like 50 cents. If it's 20 cents, it's even better, because even with the slow 20 cents minimum bet, a lot of these races are very wide open, and you could go extra deep there and still pay a nice amount, even with the 20 cents minimum. But 9 to 10 here for me. First horse talk now is number 9-horse Washington, D.C. 12 to 1. Dominic O'Brien's on this Aidan O'Brien trained 5-year-old horse by Zoffany. This horse's most recent outing came on 26th of May. They came at Haydock, 5 furlongs in the Group 2 Temple Stakes. This horse ran a great race. It was, he finished second by a half length, or excuse me, by a head, behind Batash, who's actually running back in this one today. This horse just missed at the end, but it was his best race in quite a while. It was the old, Washington, D.C. coming back, because he was a very good sprinter a few years ago, but then he kind of lost it. But I think coming back here with that good run last time out, he should, I think he's going to be on a career race again. He's a horse that should really like firm ground also. Before that, he ran the 23rd of April at Navan on very wet ground, 5 furlongs on listed stakes, finished third by 4 lengths. He just couldn't get there at the end. I don't think the ground was to his liking. And then the Group 1 Alquaz sprint at Medan, 6 furlongs, March the 31st. He finished 4th by 3 1/4 lengths. He moved a little bit at the end, but this is the kind of horse that should like the 1,000-meter or 5 furlong trip today. Throw out his last 2 races of 2017. He ran in the Brews Cup Turf Sprint. He finished 8th by 2.5 lengths. A little he just couldn't get that good closing kick there. And then before then, the British Champion Stakes here at Ascot last October on very wet ground, again, almost heavy ground. He finished 7th by 5.5 lengths, and he just had nothing that day. But I think here, firm ground, off a very decent effort last time out at 12 to 1. I think he could really run a big one. As a top selection, he'll be getting a nice win wager on me. Another horse I like here is a 2-horse of Blue Point. William Buick's on this one for Charlie Appleby, this 4-year-old gelded by Charmdal. Godolphin owned here. This horse's most recent outing came in the Group 1 Chairman Sprint Prize at Shotton a few weeks ago, and this horse ran absolutely shitty, to be honest with you. He finished 9th by 11 lengths, and we're still waiting for him to finish the race. He was never into it. He just never got there. It wasn't his day to win. Even here with a little bit more weight, I just think he should run a lot better. He's back into his home country, where he's primarily runs. Before that, in the Maidan, 5 furlongs in the One Greenery Stretch Stakes, or excuse me, the Maidan Sprints. I don't know what the hell I was reading, but it was the Group 2 Maidan Sprint. He finished second by head behind Urtajal. Urtajal is the king of sprinting in Maidan, but this horse ran a good race that day. He just just missed at the end, but it wasn't a bad run there. And then at Ascot here last October, 6 furlongs in the John Gaspano Stakes. Horse won by half length. Another great run for this horse getting there at the end. Should like the firmer ground here. Watch out for him. He ran here at the Royal Meeting last year in the Commonwealth Cup, where he finished third by 1/4 length behind Caravaggio, who probably ran the race of his life that day. This horse, he held his own out that day. It wasn't a bad run. It wasn't his most impressive, but it wasn't his worst run. I like him a lot here today. It's 7 to 1 after disaster race last time out. I think he should be on the improves. Watch out. Another horse I would use on my pick 4 ticket here is the 10-horse Lady Aurelia. 2 to 1. Jean Velasquez is on this one for Wesley Ward. Wesley Ward's first runner at the Royal Meeting in 2018. I believe he only has one runner today, and let me just check quickly. Yes, he has one runner today, and that's Lady Aurelia, who loves running here. She won this race last year by 3 lengths. Jean Velasquez replaced the injured Frankie Dettori, and this horse just won very nicely. She's reunited again with John Velasquez, and him coming over, I think that's going to be the key to this horse's victory. If you're ever wondering who John Velasquez is as a rider, if I had to, he's more. If I have to explain it to a English audience, he's our version of Frankie Dettori, let's say. Probably not as so charismatic as him, but he's that veteran he's won almost every single race known to man, and he's a smart rider. Very rarely does he give you a ride that you have to think about. It's great to see him cross the pond to run here, to ride this one here. But Lady Aurelia, her most recent outing was her first race back off a break, 5.5 furlongs at Keeneland, and just a basic allowance race. She finished second by 1/2 lengths, and she just, she needed the race. She didn't get that good strong kick like she normally has. Before then, Breeze Cup Turf Sprint at Del Mar, 5 furlongs November the 4th. This horse finished 10th by 3 lengths, was with the pace setters, and then hit the wall. It just wasn't her day to win. Personally, I don't think she's a very good horse in North America, keep up with those speedier horses, but outside North America, I think she runs a lot better, because I don't think personally, I think this might sound controversial to some people, but personally, I think the North Americans have the best sprinters in the world. Then second best is probably the Australians, but other than that, I think in any other division, I think the Europeans are on top, and anything else other than sprinting. That's my opinion, and I'll go with it. But before that, this horse, before the Breeze Cup Turf Sprint, this horse ran the Nunthorpe at York, 5 furlongs last August. This horse finished second by a nose. Marsha just got the kick on this horse in the final 16th of a mile. This horse just ran her hard out that day. She just missed with the heavyweight. Maybe that got to her at the end, but she ran her hard out. And then the Kingston last June here at Ascot, she won by 3 lengths, and she just took off clear. Very nice, easy victory. I think she can run a big one here today, but she's into her 4-year-old campaign. Did she lose something going from 3 to 4? We'll know a lot after this race, but it's she's a definite use on your pick 4 ticket here in North America. As an each way wager now on her, there's going to be no value, so I won't do that. But if you're going to play the pick 4, like I said, for our North America viewers, you want her on the ticket. She's probably going to get bent to the ground here in North America, because they're going to see John Velasquez and Wesley Ward. That's going to happen to a lot of the American runners today. But That's just always happens. But now to recap my selections now for the third race from Ascot, the 340. It's the Group 1 King's Stand Stakes. As a top selection here, I like the 9-horse Washington, D.C. I'm going to go 9 to 10 in the TriCast, or the trifecta. I'll go 9 to 10 here in the pick 4. So now let's get on to race number 4, the 420 from Ascot. The fourth race, the 420 from Ascot, it's the Group 1 St. James Palace Stakes. It's a Group 1 race for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $727,500. This race is for 3-year-olds here. Field of 10 horses, going the distance of ground of 1,600 meters or 1 mile on the turf course. This is the 1 mile around the turn. I know it has a special name, but I just can't think of it at the top of my head at the minute. So it's not the straight 1 mile, it's the turn 1 mile, shall I say. But always a great race, and you have some very nice, horses in it. As a top selection here, I'm going to use the 8-horse U.S. Navy Flag. He has a wide post draw, but I think he can overcome it. I think the mile distance is going to be really up this horse's alley. I'm going to go 8-9-2 in the TriCast, so the trifecta. 892 TriCast Trifecta. Top pick number 8, U.S. Navy Flag. He'll be used on a pick 4 ticket here, along with the 9-horse Without Parole. Those are my top 2 who I really like. But as a top selection, the 8-horse U.S. Navy Flag. Ryan Moore's on this one for Aiden O'Brien, this 3-year-old colt by Warfront. Horse's most recent outing came on the 26th of May at Curragh. 1 mile in the Irish 2,000 guineas. His horse just missed at the end. He finished second by 2 1/4 lengths, and he just couldn't get that good closing kick that day. He just kind of stayed. I think, again, with dry grounds, he should, I think he should really run well. If there's a big, quick pace in front of him, I think he should also do a little bit better. But before that, this horse ran at Longchamp, 1 mile in the French 2,000 guineas, the Group 1 Poulet de Essan de Poulans. This horse finished 5th by 3 lengths, and he slipped going around the false straight, I believe, and I think that took a little bit out of him. He just couldn't get into the race. And then Listed Stakes of Leopardstown, 7 furlongs, April the 14th. First start off a layoff. He finished 4th by 15 lengths. He needed the race. He never was really into it. The ground had a lot to do with it, also being heavy that afternoon, or that twilight card, whatever it was. Before that, this horse ran at Del Mar, mile 16th on November the 4th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. That was Dirt Juvenile, and he just did not like the dirt. Throw that race out. He finished 10th by 30 lengths. With the cup kickback in dirt, he just shied away from it, looking at the replay, and he just didn't handle it at all. It just wasn't his afternoon to win. But before that, he won the Dewhurst very nicely, and he won the Middle Park Stakes very nicely at Newmarket, going 6 furlongs and then 7 furlongs into Dewhurst. He just ran well. Even, like I said, with a wide poster, I think he should overcome it. Last year, they just a little backtrack. Last year in the St. James Palace, I believe Churchill went off as a heavy favorite and absolutely ran shitty. It's something I've noticed in the past. When horses do shitty in a race in one year, the next year, the same connections with a different horse, usually they come back with some good quality horse to really get the victory. And I think here U.S. Navy Flag could overcome that crap race Churchill ran last year. I'll take my chances with him here at 6-1. Another horse I like here, but not the price, is the 9-horse Without Parole. Frankie Dettori is on this John Gosden trained for 3-0 colt by Frankel. This horse is bred to go a mile. He's a good post draw for today. But the only problem is he's 5-2, which is a crappy price. His most recent outing, though, at Sandown on good ground, but it was on the softer side of good. 1 mile Listed Stakes. He won by 3/4 of the length, but he needed the race. He wasn't 100% fresh. He was fresh, but not 100%. He just he got the victory, but it wasn't the most impressive. I think with even firmer ground here today, he should just really be on the rebound. He also has more time to train between the races. He had a little bit of a he had a small injury which sidelined him just for a little bit. Missed a few days of training, which probably was probably the reason why he just wasn't 100% last time out. Also, the firm ground should the softer ground probably didn't help either. But here he should be really on the improve. But before that, without parole, ran at Yarmouth, 24th of April, 1 mile Class 5 novice race. This horse really put on a show. He won by 6 lengths from a wide posture. He just quickened up nicely and had a very easy victory. Could have won by more, but they didn't want to kill the horse. He was carrying 135 pounds also that day, which was the heaviest, but he just destroyed the race there. And then Newcastle, 1 mile last December, Class 5 novice race. Horse won by 6 lengths. Another easy victory. I like this horse a lot here today. I love his pedigree also with the Frankel. And also, this horse has Lemon Drop Kid on him, who actually won the 99 Belmont Stakes here in New York. Lemon Drop Kid, he's a good sire of his offspring, really do well on turf. And, this horse on turf today should really like that. Like I said earlier, the 5-2 price is not the best prices, but I'll use him in a pick 4 ticket here in America. So I'll use him there. So to recap my bets for today's 4th race from Ascot, the 420, it's the Group 1 St. James Palace Stakes. It's a top selection. I like the 8-horse U.S. Navy Flag. The 9-horse Without Pro could get a piece of it also. So I'll go 8-9-2 in the tricast, so the trifecta. I'll go 8-9 on my pick 4 ticket. So now let's get on to race number 5 from Ascot. The 5th race, the 5 o'clock from Ascot. It's probably the most wide open race of the afternoon. The 5 o'clock, it is the Ascot Stakes. It's a Class 2 handicap going for a purse of $121,500. This race is for 4-year-olds and upward, rated 0 to 100. Field of 20 horses going the 4,000-meter trip, or 2.5 miles on the turf course. I'll give you 3 horses that I think can win since this race is so wide open. All 3 of these horses will be used on my pick 4 tickets. The 3 horses I'll be using is the 1-horse Whiskey Sour, the 12-horse Legstow to Vegas, and the number 19 horse here, White Deserts. So 1, 12, 19 here. Let me talk about all 3 of them. Starting off with the 1-horse Whiskey Sour, 8-1. Christophe Soumillon is on this Willie Mullins trained 5-year-old gelding by Jeremy. This horse does have the high weight of 136 pounds in this race, but it shouldn't affect his running. I think he's a definite stayer in my opinion. His most recent outing came at Punchestown, 27th of April, 2.5 miles, 4,000 meters in the Grade 1 Champion Novice Hurdle. For his second race in a week, he ran second by 10 lengths that day behind Dortmund Park, who just ran a little bit of a better race. But this horse, he got around the race course well. It wasn't a bad outing. It was a little bit of an improvement off his start before in the Grade 1 Herald Champion Novice Hurdle at Punchestown, 2 miles and 16, 24th of April, a few days earlier. He finished 4th by 13 lengths that day, and he just couldn't catch the winner, who just ran a little bit better, and he never got going that day. I think the distance was a little bit too short. And then 2 miles and 8th at Cheltenham in the Grade 3 Randox Health County Handicap Hurdle. He finished 3rd by 3.5 lengths that day. He ran quite well that day, jumped well. It was a very respectable race there. You could throw out his race before in Leopardstown where he ran crappy, but he does have races over the flat. Last summer at Galway, 1.5 miles and a handicap, he just won by 3/4 length, even with heavyweight. He just quickened up nicely, very easy victory. I think here today at 8-1, he's a horse you definitely want on your ticket, along with the number 12 horse here, Legstow to Vegas, 10-1. Andre Attazini's on this one for Willie Mullins. He has quite a few in this race, but I think in my eyes, the 1 and the 12 are his 2 best in this race. But 12 horse Legstow to Vegas, 6-year-old mare by Footsteps in the Sand. Like I said, Andre Attazini's on this one. This horse ran a few weeks ago at Killarney in a hurdle race, 2 miles and 8th in a mare's listed hurdle. This horse finished 3rd by 19 lengths that day. Just kind of weakened out of it in the final run in. Wet ground probably wasn't to this horse's liking there. Before that, in a handicap hurdle at Punchestown, 2 miles. This horse finished 13th by 13 lengths and was the heavyweight there, and he just didn't show up. And then before that, Cheltenham, 2 miles and 8th in the Health County Hurdle. This horse finished 5th by 5.5 lengths. Wasn't going to catch the winner, but he ran well there. This horse again has run over the flat like my other Willie Mullins horse. Most recent flat race came at Naas in Ireland last November, 1.5 miles in a listed stakes. Horse finished second by 3 lengths, just missed at the end, but ran a respectable race. And then a Class 2 handicap at Newmarket, going the 3,600 meter trip over 2.25 miles last October. Horse finished 3rd by 8 3/4 lengths. Wasn't going to catch the winner, but ran a decent effort there. I think this horse at 10-1 is a major player, and I think you should have him on your ticket. I'll do a small each way wager on him, along with the number 19 horse here, the 19 White Desert. This 4-year-old gelding by Telefio, Godolphin Doan, Charlie Appleby trained, William Buick gets the leg up. This horse had a decent race at Wolverhampton a few weeks ago. Mile 3/4 class 4 handicap. He won by 6 lengths, even with that wide post draw. He just won very nicely. A very easy race for this horse. It was an improvement off his start before, which came at Newmarket, a mile and a half class 4 handicap. Do you think the distance was a little bit too short for this horse? He finished third by 6 1/4 lengths. And he never really got going. He didn't weaken out of it, but he just never got going there. And then at Wolverhampton, mile and a half class 5 novice race in April. He finished second by a neck with a heavy weight off the break. He just missed, but he ran a decent effort there. I like this horse a lot here. I definitely think he could stay the distance of ground. And at 15-1, you want to do a small each way wager on him. And here in North America, you want to include him on your pick 4 ticket. So watch out. So to recap my bets for today's 5th race from Ascot, the 5 o'clock, it's the Ascot Stakes. I'm going to go with the 1-horse Whiskey Sour. I'm going to use the 12-horse Lagstow to Vegas. And I'm going to use the 19-horse White Desert. Oh, desert, not dessert, it's desert. I'm gonna go 1, 12, 19 here in the Ascot Stakes. So now let's get on to race number 6 from Ascot. The 6th race to 5:35 from Ascot, the final race of the day. It is the Wolferton Stakes. It's listed stakes for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $135,000. This race is for 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 16 horses going the 2,000-meter trip or a mile and a quarter on the turf course. My top selection here, I like the 8-horse Kinmenver. I'm gonna go 8, 2, 10 in the tricast of the trifecta. 8, 2, 10 tricast trifecta. I'll definitely use the 8 and the 2 in my pick 4 ticket. So hopefully you've been following along with that pick 4. But my top selection here, the 8-horse Kinmenver. Hopefully I'm saying it right. Pardon me. I do know I mispronounce horse's name wrong all the time. It's just a habit I have. I'm usually so nervous I can't speak anyway. But this 5-year-old horse by Baltic King here, William Buick's on this one, Charlie Appleby. This horse ran first of March at Maidan, a mile and a quarter in a 4-year-old plus handicap. He won by 2.5 lengths, even with a high weight and a wide poster. He just overcame it to have a great victory there at 8-1. It was an improvement off his start before, which came 2 weeks earlier at Maidan. 1,800 meters, mile and a half in a 4-year-old plus handicap. He finished 7th by 5 3/4 lengths, and he needed the race. He just wasn't himself there. A little bit too wide. He just didn't have the acceleration like he normally had. And then before that, in Australia, the 18th of November, 1,800 meters, mile and a half in the Group 3 MyPunter.com Eclipse Stakes. This horse finished second that day. He ran a decent effort there. He had a decent turn of foot. It wasn't a bad outing. Before that he ran a Caulfield, and you throw that race out, he just didn't run really well in the Herbert Power Stakes. But I just think here today, off the break, firm ground. He should run a big one. He also has a good poster. You want to be drawn low going around 2 turns or around the turn here at Ascot, so watch out. Another horse I like here is the 2-horse Monarch's Glen. He's a very nice John Gosden trained 4-year-old gelding by Frankie Dettori gets leg up. This horse ran the Dubai Turf a few weeks ago at Maidan, a few months ago now, at Maidan, 1,800 meters, mile and a half. He finished 14th by 28 lengths. He just never was really into it. First off the layoff, I don't think they should have really set their heights that high. It just wasn't his day to win. Before that, Newmarket, 1,800 meters, mile 8 in the Group 3 Darley Club Stakes. He won by 1/4 lengths, and he just quickened up nicely. He had a very nice easy victory on the Rolling Mile there. And then at Goodwood, a mile and a quarter in listed stakes. Horse won by nose. He quickened up nicely, had a very nice victory there. He's been pretty perfect other than that last race at Maidan. I think here today at 8-1, watch out for him to run a big one. While we're here, I'll talk about the 10-horse who I have third on my TriCast, Morando. He'll be used on my pick 4 only if horse withdraws and win the other races, or scratches and win on the other races, and I have some extra bankroll. He can maybe get there. He ran a few weeks ago in the Gordon Richards Stakes at Morando, where he finished third by 1/4 lengths, and he just couldn't catch the 2 in front of him, which drew just a little bit better. It was his first off the left, so maybe give him a little bit of a break. But before that, in France, in the Andre Bibon Stakes, horse finished second by length. He ran a decent effort there. a little bit wide, but he ran well. And then third 2 red mile at Haydock last September. He finished third by 2 lengths. The two in front of him were just a little bit better than him. He was just third best. He's a horse definitely good. He's a horse you definitely want on your TriCast ticket, possibly to have on your Pick Four ticket. But personally, I think the other two are a lot better than him in class. But to recap my bets now for the sixth race from Ascot, the 5:35. It's the Wolferton Stakes. As a top selection, I'll use the 8 horse. I'll go 8-2-10 in the TriCast or the trifecta, and I'll go 8-2 in my Pick 4 ticket. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and join me tomorrow again for more Royal Ascot preview here on YouTube. Good luck, everybody.